Hello and welcome back to the Double A NBA podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And today we've got almost no real life news,
Yeah, no, nothing
but
happened.
we've got a pretty good game. Let me turn my gain down a little bit. There we go. Um, we've got a pretty good game, pretty exciting. Allen Iverson takes down the Bucks.
Yep.
Game 7, 2001 Eastern Conference Finals in Philadelphia. Philadelphia takes down Milwaukee. So, let me just go ahead and pull up the basketball reference page for this game. By the way, if you're listening at home, all of these games that we've looked at so far, you can find on basketball reference. You just have to Google the game
Yeah.
and the date, the game, especially if it's a playoff game, you can just say 2001 Eastern Conference Finals Game 7.
Yeah.
So you can follow along at home when we give all of these numbers.
You can also watch the games on nba.com/free preview.
Yes, you can. If you would like to follow along at home with us.
Yeah. But so in this game, Allen Iverson dropped 44. That was the number, right? Yeah,
Yes.
44. And they beat the Bucks pretty convincingly.
Yeah, this game was a lot more spread out in terms of Iverson scoring.
Yeah.
Because in the last game, it was he had I think it was 30 something going into the fourth quarter, and then he ended up finishing with 56 or something.
Yeah.
He scored 20 points in the fourth quarter to ice the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this was honestly a close-ish playoff series. It's one of those series that go to 7 games, but only 1 or 2 of the games are actually close. 3 in this case. So game 3 through 5, the most a team won by was 6. But all the other games, it was 8 or more.
Yeah. This game was what was it, 17?
Yeah, this one was 108-91.
Yeah.
And so let's just start out at the beginning.
Um,
Mutombo, this series. Okay, let's kind of set the stage here because this series was close.
Mm-hmm.
This series was really close. So Philly won game 1 in Philadelphia. And then, was this when they did 2-2-3?
No. It might. I don't know because I didn't watch any other games from this series.
Oh, no, it was 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah.
So, Philly wins game 1. Pretty close game, 8 points. Not the closest game it could be, but Milwaukee didn't get their ass kicked. And then Milwaukee comes back, game 2 in Philadelphia, kind of beats the shit out of the Sixers. It was 14 points, 14-point separation. Ray Allen drops 38. Next game, the Bucks win. So the Bucks in this series, they went up 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
So they steal home court. They go up 2-1. Philadelphia, in a crucial game 4, they squeak it out, 6 points, 89-83 in Milwaukee. Philly wins by the skin of their teeth in game 5 back in Philadelphia. Glenn Robinson is crucial in this game. He drops 22. That's the closest game of the series. Game 6 is when it kind of starts to, these two games are pretty not close. Game 6, Milwaukee wins by 10. This was in Milwaukee. Allen Iverson, though, drops 46 points. So Allen Iverson dropped almost half of Philly's points, and they still lost by a pretty decent margin.
Yeah.
And then Game 7, of course, is the one we watched. So this was it was a tough series. It wasn't really, the games weren't super close. It wasn't a bunch of 2 and 3 point losses, but it was a lot of back and forth, kind of a comeback by Philly.
At the start of the game, the announcer was talking about how the Bucks had the least free throw attempts in a playoff series in NBA history or something like that. They just weren't getting free throws. So I think that's a pretty big reason why it was close, because these Sixers teams were not good besides Allen Iverson.
Yeah. So I've got some stats down here. So for the series, Allen Iverson dropped. Let me look here. He averaged 30 points a game in this fucking series.
Yeah, well, because he had like 3 games where he dropped 40 some, but then he also had games where he wasn't doing good. So it sort of balanced out.
Yeah, and Ray Allen dropped 27 a game. So I think actually going into this game, I remember seeing a little graphic, and it was like point leaders for the series, and it was Ray Allen at 27.1, and I didn't see Allen Iverson's. But I think it was around 20, I think it was like 27.8 or something. So Allen Iverson increased his point total for this his average point total for the series by almost 3 in one game, which is ridiculous. I've never seen a player do that. And Dikembe Mutombo, who at this point is 34 years old. So let's talk about Dikembe for a
This
second.
game, he took a lot of free throws. So many free throws.
Yeah, and watching Dikembe Mutombo shoot free throws is not it's not the thing that you're watching that when you watch then when you tune in to watch Dikembe, that's not the thing you
But
want
the
to
thing is, you
watch.
can't even hack a Shack him because he'll make them.
Yeah, he's like a decent free throw shooter. He just has like a kind of hard to watch form.
Yeah, it is
Um,
tough.
so Dikembe Mutombo was fucking. So he's 34. So a lot of like the narrative around this Philadelphia team is it was Allen Iverson, to an extent Eric Snow, and then this old Dikembe Mutombo, and they had the sixth man of the year, and I forget his name, Aaron McKee. That was bad. I apologize to Aaron McKee. So it was like Allen Iverson and a couple other decent guys, but Dikembe Mutombo was like good in this series. Dikembe Mutombo dropped 16, 15, and 3.
Well, yeah, they had Darvin Ham starting for this game 7, and he's like what 6'7", and they had him on
Yeah.
Dikembe, so that's not great.
Also, let's talk about Raja Bell, because Raja Bell. So I guess let's start at the beginning, and then we can get into Raja Bell. So Dikembe Mutombo in this series was averaging just under 16 boards a game, which is a lot of boards for a 34-year-old.
Yeah, I remember the announcer were talking about how when the Sixers made that trade, like a bunch of people were questioning why they traded for a 34-year-old Dikembe Mutombo, but it ended up working out.
Well, I think a lot of people question that because they had gotten rid of Tony Kukoc. And that was kind of Tony Kukoc at the time was still pretty good. Like he wasn't 90s Tony Kukoc, but he wasn't like really bad. Like Tony Kukoc was never really bad, but he was a solid scorer for them. Let me look up his averages for the 2001 season, so you can vamp for a sec.
Okay, so yeah, the Bucks didn't get many free throw calls in the series overall, and I think in this game, Dikembe Mutombo might have had more free throws than the entire Bucks team. Like I wouldn't be surprised because he was at the line like every 10 seconds. It was kind of insane. Um,
Yeah. So Tony Kukoc on this team, he was kind of their like backup, or not backup, but he was one of their other scoring options. He was dropping 11 a game. So not his best season. But actually, when he went to so his average in Philly was actually 8 a game. But his average in Atlanta was 19.7. So which averaged
well,
to
you're not
11
going to
points per
score
game.
20 behind Allen Iverson.
No, yeah, exactly. That's a great point. But this like Kukoc Mutombo trade, it was almost like trading a little bit of scoring. And Tony Kukoc was also 32 at this point, which is something that people kind of forget that when they're like, oh, they're trading for a 34-year-old. It's like, well, would you like a 32-year-old who's not really doing much scoring? And that was what Tony Kukoc was a good scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather have a 34-year-old whose body doesn't really rely on his athleticism? So a 34-year-old Dikembe Mutombo is not like it's not as good as a 28-year-old Dikembe Mutombo, but it's also like he was an all-star that year. He's one of the best defenders in the history of the league. He's one of the best rebounders in the history of the league. So when you're trading for Dikembe Mutombo, you know you're getting defense and rebounding, which when you have Allen Iverson, those are two things that you need.
Yeah.
Because those, Allen Iverson is not a great defender. He's not bad, but he's not known for his defense, and
Well, it's hard to
he
beat a
also has a
defender when he's
tendency to
really
take
small like that.
well, and he has a tendency to take possessions off just because he's playing 46 minutes a game.
This
or
game,
whatever
he actually didn't play
season.
the whole game. He did sub out a decent amount.
Yeah, this game actually, I noticed that he played. I think he played like 44.
I don't know the exact number, but I know it wasn't like the last game we watched where he didn't sub out until the last 10 seconds of the game. He actually did take a little bit of a break in this one. It still wasn't much. He still played like a ton of minutes, but
he played just under 44
minutes. Yeah, compared to last game, it was a little bit less.
Yeah. But we've talked a lot about the Sixers, so let's talk about this Bucks team, because this Bucks team had 3 All-Stars.
Well, wait, they had 3.
Ray Allen, not all this year, not all in 2000, 2001, but 3 guys who at some point in their career. Actually, let me confirm that. I'm pretty sure that Glenn Robinson made an All-Star team.
Oh yeah, it was Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Robinson.
Sam Cassell
all All-Stars.
Sort of was getting passed around the league at this time, right?
Yeah, so Sam Cassell is one of those guys that in his prime, so he played 15 years, so he's one of those guys in his prime that really any team could use. Sam Cassell, there's a reason that Sam Cassell has been on, he won 3 championships. He won 2 with the Rockets in his first 2 years, and then he won 1 with the Celtics in his last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was All-NBA in the 03-04 season with Minnesota. He was part of those. Oh, I always forget he was on those Minnesota teams with
Kevin Garnett.
Yes, Kevin Garnett.
I remember looking up Sam Cassell because I didn't know much about his career, and he played for 3 different teams in one season.
Did he really?
I think so, yeah. According to Basketball Reference.
Yeah, he played a lot of places. I read a book. Actually, I highly recommend it. It's called The Curse by Mick Minus, and it's about the Clippers. And they talk about his years with the Clippers, because he really on those in the mid 2000s, the Clippers had a couple decent playoff teams. I think they took one of those Suns teams to 7 one year. They never got past the second round, but he was on one of those teams, and he was really crucial. He's just a good guy to have on your team.
Yeah,
and I think that's why he has such a long
All-Star
career.
Only?
Yeah, he was, but it still counts, and he was an All-Star around that time. So that's why I say that they had 3 All-Stars. And then Ray Allen, for this series, Ray Allen was fucking good.
Yeah, this game,
Ray Allen
he was missing some shots.
He did miss some shots. He was 44% from the field, but he was 4 of 7 from 3.
Mm-hmm. And for this time, 7 threes is a lot.
4 of 7 from threes. Yeah.
But yeah.
So we've also got this coaching battle. I didn't realize that at the time George Karl was coaching the Bucks. So Larry Brown, in back-to-back rounds, had to play against 2 Hall of Fame coaches.
Well, yeah. Typically, you don't get that far unless you either A, have a generational talent, or B, have good coaching.
Yeah. So George Karl he's actually not a Hall of Famer yet, but he will be eventually, because he won a shit ton of games and was Coach of the Year in 2013. But besides that, this is just the East. I didn't realize how kind of stacked the Eastern Conference was in terms of coaching talent in 2000 at this point, because I believe the Pacers that season were coached by the current Mavericks coach,
Rick Carlisle,
who's a good coach. Yeah, Rick Carlisle. There's just a lot of good coaches at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the West had Phil Jackson, who's
And the West had Phil
arguably
Jackson.
the greatest coach of all time.
The West had Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich, both prime coaches, coaching at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
insane.
like, can you imagine being a Western Conference team when those two guys are coaching? How the fuck do you even do that? Like,
especially
how do you
when they
handle
have Shaq and Kobe and Tim Duncan.
prime Tim Duncan and
Was David Robinson still? Yeah,
Dave Robinson.
Yeah, he was still in the league.
I don't think he wasn't really in his prime in 2001, but he was still solid.
Yeah.
So let's also talk about Ray Allen hitting more threes in this entire series by himself than Philadelphia hit total.
Yeah, well, the Philly team really doesn't take many threes outside of Allen Iverson taking like 2 or 3.
No, they don't. And Allen Iverson, a lot of his shots that kind of look like threes are actually like he's got a foot on the line or just like just inside the paint.
Dude, Aaron McKee is out of pocket. He was taking some wild shots.
Dude.
And not making any of them.
Can we talk about Raja Bell in this game?
Bro, they were hyping him up so much.
Are you kidding me? Raja Bell went off in the second quarter. He's the reason that, like, of course Allen Iverson, but he and Allen Iverson are the reason.
No, but like he made his first layup and then they went like crazy.
They did. Well, because he was kind of a fun story because he played in like the CBA. Like I think he was a rookie that year, or an NBA rookie at least. Like I think he got to start that game. They also brought up that he was from the Virgin Islands, which is also where Tim Duncan's from, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They said that like 4 times. Yeah, so he was pretty much just a bench warmer that season. Raja Bell in that game.
I know he had a decent quarter, but it was like I didn't think it was insanely crazy.
Well, it wasn't like a super crazy game. Raja Bell finished with 10, but I think they were like all in the second quarter, and they were all within like 5 minutes of each other because he had like 2 fast break dunks and like a steal layup. Like it was, like he was definitely on the. He was on it at that point. He was also 1 of 2 from 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, they were hyping him up so much, and I was just kind of confused because it's Raja Bell. He's not typically someone you hype up.
Yeah. Not really somebody you. Yeah, you're right.
One of the other things I had written down was for the Bucks, they had a lot of turnovers. I think they were talking about how in that series they had like a lot of turnovers, and like halfway through the first quarter there was a graphic that pulled up that showed the Bucks had like 5 turnovers to the Sixers 1, and they just like couldn't hold on to the ball. It was kind of a problem because you need to hold
they
on
were
to the
turning it
ball
over
to
a lot.
win the game. That was probably one of the biggest things too, because by the end of that game they probably had double-digit turnovers, and they lost by 17. That's possibly 20 points you're giving up if they can convert on every.
That's what happens when you have double-digit turnovers. Yeah. But it wasn't like 10 turnovers. It was like 15 or 16.
Yeah, they could not hold on to the ball.
I think they also said it was like late fourth quarter, so it might not have ended like this. But I think that they said that they were perfect from the line. They were like 18 of 18 in that game.
The Bucks?
Which is insane.
Wait,
yeah.
So the Bucks take 18 free throws. How many do you have like this box score pulled up? How many did Dikembe Mutombo take?
So, hold on, let me count. 6, 12.
Because I legit think Dikembe Mutombo might have had more free throws than that whole team because he was at the line so much.
Yeah, so the Bucks were perfect from the line, 19 of 19, and Dikembe Mutombo was 13 of 19.
Okay, so
he took the same amount of free throws by himself as the entire Bucks.
But then no one else on the Sixers really got an insane amount of calls. Like Allen Iverson wasn't at the free throw line a lot, and
AI shot 7, and that's the next most.
So other than Dikembe Mutombo, the fouls weren't really there for the Sixers. But Allen Iverson played not reserve, but he was like when he drove in, Dikembe Mutombo was like boxing out for him and stuff. He wasn't attacking it on 3 people as much as he usually did in like earlier games. So
Yeah, there was a really nice, and you could tell that this was like veteran Mutombo because a lot of young players probably wouldn't do this, but Mutombo actually had a really nice when Allen Iverson was driving, he actually boxed out for the drive so that he could get an easier layup, which you don't really see a lot.
yeah,
But that's like an older guy. That's like an older center mentality sort of thing. Like he learned to do that for his guards, which is really impressive. Like I just don't see that ever.
yeah. Well, there's not too many people in the league. I mean, Rudy Gobert, I guess, but there isn't too many centers that are really just defense and rebounding that don't do some semblance of like scoring as much.
Yeah,
or
that's
trying
true.
to score. Plus, a lot of centers
Also,
are now at the
after
3-point line more. So
yeah, that's true. After you pointed it out last week, I was kind of looking for it a little more, and you are right about Allen Iverson's disruption of pass lanes almost. Like that is the thing on defense that he does really well.
I mean, he was like
If he
multiple. I don't know how much, but he was like the steals leader for a few years, right? Just because he would get into the pass lanes all the time.
Yeah, I think so.
And
which that doesn't always mean you're like a really good defender.
No, but for pass lanes, that's like a good implication.
Yeah,
that's just kind of his thing. Problem with that is that it also, if you miss the ball, now they have a wide open shot. So it's like a high risk, high reward sort of thing. But speaking of high risk, high reward, Sixers still can't really guard the paint well at all. I noticed that from like the last series. The Bucks didn't have too many sort of paint threats because again their center was 6'7". But I mean, if they did get the ball into the paint with a big, unless Dikembe Mutombo was there ready, it was an easy bucket. There wasn't too much guarding of the paint going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I'm not.
Yeah, that's pretty much my same. I noted that George Karl blowing his nose in a towel was kind of gross.
Well, I'm sure he didn't give the towel to someone. I mean, if you don't have tissues around, right, just use a towel. It's there.
Yeah. Also, so we were talking about that Raja Bell kind of going off. Raja Bell hooping. That was the start of like an 18-2 run in the second quarter that the Sixers never really looked back from.
Yeah, because after that it was sort of back and forth. There was no big lead comeback from the Bucks.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the Sixers started out really
never got
hot
closer
early on, and they were up by like double digits at one point, and then the Bucks sort of came back from it, but they couldn't come back from the second one in the second half or in the second quarter.
Yeah,
I noticed that, but they can't. I mean, because I noted it here that the Sixers started out really hot. Allen Iverson hit like 1 or 2 threes. He was hitting middies. He had 8 points in the first quarter, I think, and 2 assists. And then the Bucks sort of were able to come back and keep it close. But Raja Bell, did his thing.
Arguably Raja Bell saved the season.
No, okay. Well, let's not go that far. That's a bit of a stretch.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. I do.
Weird.
I don't think Raja Bell was the one that dropped 44 points here, Aiden. He had 10.
You don't? Well, did Raja Bell get 19 rebounds?
I don't know. I don't have the box score.
He didn't. Dikembe Mutombo did, though.
How many blocks did he have? Because I know he was getting
7.
Yeah, he was getting hella blocks.
He almost had a triple-double with blocks. Bro, it was crazy. Yeah. Dikembe Mutombo was going off this game. This was a classic Dikembe Mutombo
Did you see Eric Snow went off on a fast break and went up for a layup, and he hit like the top of the backboard and nothing else? Did you see?
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was...
Eric Snow, my opinion of Eric Snow going into this game was that he was, or this like these last couple of weeks watching Sixers games from this playoff run was that he was like the second best player on this team, and he's like not even
Well,
three.
here's the problem: is that other than no one else on this team was really like good. Dikembe Mutombo did his things, but he was.
Like I'd put for sure Dikembe Mutombo and Aaron McKie ahead of Eric Snow.
But see, here's the thing: Aaron McKie, like he'll have a solid amount of points, but he takes some crazy shots that he should just not be taking, and he sort of just
He
needs
does.
to.
It's the Iverson effect. He gets the confidence from playing with Allen Iverson.
He's not even the one doing. Allen Iverson will like hit 2 threes, and then Aaron McKie is like, "Bet I'll do that too," and then he misses them both. And look at that! Now you just given up 2 possessions. Like I remember, he took a spot up mid range with a defender in his face, and he just didn't even, he didn't even think about passing. He caught it, he looked at his defender, and just pulled it, and he missed because it's Aaron McKie.
Yeah, he's not that good.
No,
is what I've found.
I didn't know much about,
but I'd say he's better than Eric Snow.
But like that's not. Eric Snow is like a
that's
solid
not saying much.
Point guard, but he's not like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trusting him to be my second option.
Oh, absolutely not. Let's also talk about how Allen Iverson had 3 fouls going. That's why he sat out. He sat out for like 3 minutes at the end of the first half because he had 3.
Yeah.
And then he came out like with 5 seconds left in the first quarter, and he came out with like maybe a minute and a half to go in the last part of the game.
So he was still playing like the big minutes, but he did like at the end of the parts.
Yeah, he
was
played.
Still
yeah,
taking a little bit out.
So Allen Iverson got in foul trouble. Allen Iverson doesn't really get in foul trouble. He's not really that type of player.
No, he still tries, but he's not gonna risk getting out of the game.
Yeah, as he shouldn't, because it's Allen Iverson. He's the only option.
When your second leading scorer is Aaron McKie, maybe focus on offense. The other ones can worry about the defensive end.
Yeah, you got Dikembe Mutombo in the paint. He can help out.
Did you see? I forget exactly when it was. It was sometime in the first half. Allen Iverson pulled up from Curry range, and he just
did he make it?
Like maybe not Curry range, like in the terms of volleyball line, but for that time it was hella deep, and he just sunk it.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. So
I don't know much about like times from before I started watching basketball. Like I know from what I've seen, but Sam Cassell, he would just bring the ball up court and then start posting up, and I was like, "What are you doing, dude? You're a point guard." Why? I don't know if that's his norm because I never sat down and watched Sam Cassell highlights. But there was a period where he'd bring the ball up court, pass it off, and then go post up, and it was just.
Yeah, guards did that occasionally. I know that Isaiah Thomas kind of did that way back in the 80s. Guards played a little bit more in the post because not every point guard, like a lot of the time point guards, like now, really it's kind of started with like guys like Allen Iverson, but like guards that can score as well as distribute the ball are super valuable. So Sam Cassell was a lot more of a ball distributor. He could score and he would score, but he was there to distribute the ball. He's a classic point guard.
Yeah.
Like not as classic as John Stockton. Like John Stockton is.
Well, even with classic point guards, why would they post up? You're like 6'2". You're not gonna do anything,
Well, because you're posting up other point guards, and a lot of the times it was to like open up like backdoor lanes for like a wing or something.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't watch much basketball from like past, so I don't know, but it was just odd to me.
Yeah, it's definitely not the most like you can tell why they stopped doing it because it's a lot easier to just develop a jump shot than to start posting up.
Hold on, we might be having some technical difficulties here.
Oh, we may be having some technical difficulties
Aiden has
here.
muted himself, so I can't hear what he's saying. But
oh, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. I'm just like holding my phone kind of and playing with it, so
yeah, we're good.
I must have just accidentally hit the mute button.
Yeah, you're
God,
good.
I thought you were gonna say like your computer crashed.
Oh no,
again.
No. You weren't. I couldn't hear you, so I was like, we got some technical difficulties because I didn't want to like keep going.
Yeah.
This dude's just riding his lawnmower down our street's kind of badass, but that's cool.
That's so sick. So sick.
But it's a push mower,
Quarantine...
not even like a riding mower.
Wait, what?
He's just riding his lawn.
Oh, does he have like the little like pedals on the back that you can like ride?
No. I don't know how it's not like
What?
tilting over. It's kind of dope.
What a legend.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, continue. You cut out a little bit, so I didn't hear what you were finishing with. But yeah, you can continue whatever you were saying.
I don't really remember what I was finishing with.
All right, well, that's fine.
So let's just move on.
Yeah.
It was something about guards in the 90s and 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, I said they kind of stopped doing that because it's a lot easier to develop a jump shot than post up as a guard.
Yeah. So I don't have much else to add to this game. It was kind of a blowout. So.
Yeah, I've got a little bit. So it kind of started becoming a blowout, like about towards the end of the third quarter. Like really, a lot of the times the icing shot doesn't come in the third quarter. It came in the third quarter in this game. That Allen Iverson buzzer beater in the third quarter, that was game over.
Yeah, I mean, because they weren't really gonna make a big comeback.
I think that put them up by like 12 or something, and it was demoralizing. Iverson hit a shot, and I think it was Ray Allen's face.
Mm-hmm. Well,
or Sam Cassell. It was one of the guards that was playing well that game.
Yeah. I think it was on Allen Iverson, or not on Ray Allen. I'm not sure though.
Yeah,
but it was because by that point the Bucks weren't coming back. They were just going, back and forth.
They were trying not to make it embarrassing.
Yeah, which it was pretty embarrassing if you lose a game 7 by 17 points in the conference finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish that NBA.com had Game 1 of the finals from this year.
Dude, if they had Game 1 of that finals, we absolutely watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it on YouTube? Let me look on YouTube.
I think it is. Because I remember watching it in math class.
Dude, do you want to watch that game for next week?
Sure. This is just Allen Iverson month, or not month, because we started it last month. But we're doing 3 Allen Iverson episodes in a row.
Yeah.
But
this is the official Allen Iverson fan club podcast.
Well, he's my third favorite player.
Yeah, they have the full game on YouTube. I
told you I watched it in math class.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Alright, so that'll be our game for next week.
Yeah. So and Ray Allen also kinda got hurt in this game. He came back, but I think he had like a right knee contusion.
Was it from
the
screen? That should have been called an illegal screen.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
I remember because Ray Allen looked at the ref, and the ref called like it was clean, and he looked so mad. Because it was clearly not clean. But, that's okay.
But whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright, so...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to add about this game. There's no news.
They actually they said something really interesting in this game, which I thought was maybe the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh.
But I kind of get it because it's happened in other sports, but I hate it every time it happens. So Larry O'Brien, I think it was one of the last games of the year, against the Bulls, which the 2000, pretty much every post-Michael Jordan, pre-Derrick Rose Bulls team was bad. Like really bad.
Yeah.
Like so bad that like even the baddest basketball team right now. Like the Bulls of the early 2000s were the Knicks of right now.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad
to
they
less
were.
of an extent because they still had the whole Michael Jordan legacy. The Knicks don't have anything past like
they had 6
70s.
rings in the 90s. They didn't really care. They were like, fuck it, we'll draft Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler. I don't give a fuck.
And then draft LaMarcus Aldridge and trade him away for a nobody.
Woo! They said that in one of the last games of the year, Larry O'Brien sat almost all of his starters.
Larry
against
O'Brien,
the Bulls.
what?
Oh wait, Larry Brown. I knew that I was gonna say that at least once because I kept thinking Larry. I kept wanting to write Larry O'Brien when I know it's Larry Brown. So Larry Brown rested like all of his starters. They lose to the Bulls, and if they won that game, Aditya, I'm like getting really close to the mic. Whispering.
Please don't do that.
Please
just talk normally.
If they win that game, they get home court advantage for the finals.
Yeah.
which means that we never get the step over, but we also might get an Allen Iverson ring.
No.
Probably not, because that Lakers
he got
team was
destroyed.
fucking insane.
They won game 1 and then got destroyed. There's no winning that series.
But it might have been like the Pacers series the year before, where it's like not horrible. Like it's pretty dominant, but like they win in 6 instead of reverse sweep.
Well, here's the thing. Home court advantage for game 7 doesn't matter if there's no game 7. They lost in 5, you know? They would have still...
That's true, they did lose in 5, but you know how the Philadelphia crowds are.
Sure.
Like that, having Philadelphia behind you is kind of a big advantage.
Yeah, but it's also like
who knows what would have happened in game 1 or game 2.
Having Allen Iverson by himself. Because here's the thing. He's really good, but he's also somewhat inconsistent. You know? So he had his...
Well, and he's also not as good as, like...
Kobe and Shaq.
Prime Shaq and almost prime Kobe. Yeah. Like, almost prime Kobe is the same as, like a really... Like, an all-NBA player. It just, like, wasn't the all-time great, perfect, immaculate Kobe Bryant that we knew from, like, 2004 to... Or, like, 2002 to, like, 2014
well, here's
or
the
whenever
thing.
He tore
if
his
the
Achilles.
Sixers wanted any hope of winning that series, Dikembe Mutombo would have to revert into like 6 years past, and then Aaron McKee or Eric Snow would have to suddenly turn into all-stars. Right? Like, that would have to happen.
Well, see, that's the thing, is the 2001 Lakers behind... So we're transitioning into talk for next week, by the way. We're done with the Bucks game. So... The 2001 Lakers are a team that is not really anybody besides Shaq and Kobe.
Well, they had decent
like, it's Shaq and
like
Kobe.
Rick Fox and Derek Fisher and stuff, right?
Yeah, they did. But it was like if Allen Iverson had that supporting cast, if it was just Allen Iverson and, like, Derek Fisher and Rick Fox, it would have been a similar result to what happened.
Derek Fisher's
you know
better
what I mean?
than Aaron McKee or Eric Snow.
Sure, but Rick Fox is not as good as Dikembe Mutombo was that year. Like,
well, yeah, but they're also
it's just there's a trade-off.
You know.
Sure.
But, Shaq and Kobe were just kind of unstoppable. That's why they won a lot of rings.
Yeah, that was the team that went 16-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was wrong. They had a pretty damn good supporting cast. I forget they had Horace Grant, they had Ron Harper, they had Robert Horry. Oh, yeah, no, that team was fucking stacked on the bench. Never mind, I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
but
there's no winning that series for the Sixers.
But they weren't a super team. They had two superstars.
Like a multiple superstar, like 3 or 4. You know, superstars. That's really what people think of.
They had 2 superstars and a bunch of, like, a great supporting cast.
Yeah.
And Allen Iverson was one superstar with an okay supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is Allen Iverson supposed to guard Stanislav Medvedenko? Like, how is he supposed to do that? 6'10" power forward.
He's a meme. Stanislav Medvedenko. Have you seen the Stephen A. Smith memes? Dude, those are so good.
He was a 2001, 2002 NBA champ, dude. I don't know if I would talk shit about Stanislav.
Apparently really bad, because Stephen A. Smith put him in the same category as people like Tiago Splitter and Kwame Brown. So,
bro, can we talk about how Tiago Splitter got fucking... Dude, if we can watch that game, let's watch that game.
What game?
The 2013... There are a couple really good games from the 2013 finals, but it was like, I think it was game 4, game 5, where the Heat went on like a 35-5 run or something.
The Heat?
Hold on. Yeah. And, like, there was a crazy LeBron, like, he might as well have just, like, fucking neutered Tiago Splitter.
Jesus.
Like, he dunked on him so hard. It's like, I was like 10 and I was embarrassed.
Yeah. Tiago Splitter
for him. I was like, oh man. But he wasn't like horrible.
Well, Coach.
Was that the Kwame Brown rant? Is that what you're talking about?
What do you mean?
Where Stephen A. Smith was like, Kwame Brown! And then he,
No, so there's
is
this
talking
thing
about
that
a
was
bunch of bad players
Skip
like
Bayless was talking about
Kwame Brown.
what's the best what's a team that you would have in a 5v5 game that you would have winning the championship, what's the best team to make in a 5v5, and his team had Thiago Splitters, Stanislav Nedvenyenko, Kwame Brown, and one other dude, and then Michael Jordan. And then he was like, Stephen A. Smith, could you please read off this list for me? And he did it really dramatically, and it was pretty funny.
Well, that's because everything Stephen A. Smith does is funny. Yeah, 2013 Finals Game 2.
Yeah.
That's the 30-5 run.
I mean, we can watch that some other time if it's the full game's on YouTube or whatever.
We actually, I don't think the full game is on YouTube, but I bet Game 6 is.
Probably.
That's the Ray Allen.
That's the bang.
That full game's on YouTube, dude.
Oh. What was that?
I didn't realize that my speakers were on. That's an ad, so everybody probably just heard a guy go, yeah!
I heard that too.
Yeah, oh man.
That's fun.
So, we got Game 1 for next week. The step over. Allen Iverson's, one of his best playoff games ever, period. Mm-hmm. Arguably his best because it was in the finals and he scored 48 and has one of the most iconic plays ever.
Yeah.
But regardless, do you have anything else?
I do not.
When you said Thiago Splitter, I thought you were talking about Boris Diaw for whatever reason.
They're not very similar, Aiden.
Not at all.
I don't know where you got that from. I mean, I guess they both played for the Spurs.
They both played for the Spurs. I think I was just I know those Spurs teams pretty well because I watched them in the finals against the Heat and I hated the Heat. But I don't know why I mixed them up. But I was like, dude, Boris Diaw is not that bad. He's actually pretty decent.
Wasn't he just a
why are you dissing on my boy Boris? He was, but he wasn't like you said. Thiago Splitter is awful, and I was like, dude. Boris Diaw is not awful.
Well, yeah, but Thiago Splitter is.
Yeah, no, he's pretty bad. He got neutered by LeBron.
He got us. That is not what that means.
It's basically what it means. He got emasculated.
Oh, no.
Thiago Splitter played.
He played 10 years or something, right? Maybe I'm tripping. But...
7.
Yeah.
Which is still solid. He played from 1999 to 2017, but almost none of it was in 40% of it was in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was not great, but I think we should probably end it because
I
agree.
We've
been talking about nothing for the past 5 minutes.
Yep, just Thiago Splitter getting neutered.
So yeah, you gotta stop saying that. All right. So yeah, we are probably done. I don't have anything else to add.
I don't have anything else to add.
Like and subscribe.
Like this video.
Just because,
comment why we're stupid, dumb idiots and why you hate us and why we're wrong about this game. Tell us why we're wrong. Bucks fans, tell us what the bullshit call was that would have won, that you guys would have won this game. If not.
Even though it was a 17-point loss.
Even though it was a 17-point win, tell us the bullshit call that would have either ended a run you were about to go on. Yeah.
So yeah.
Tell us why, and also tell us why Allen Iverson sucks.
Well, don't do that because you'd be wrong, and I have to flame you. But
just tell us why you don't think Allen Iverson is an all-time great.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Tell us exactly why. Give us the reasoning why you don't think that Allen Iverson is an all-time great. Write your graduate dissertation about it, please. Even if you're not in a field related to sports, write your doctorate essay about it. I don't care.
Yeah. And if you do that, then let us know. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna end it there. See you guys later.
See you next week. Oh, Game 1 of the 2001 Finals for next week. Watch along at home.
It's on YouTube.
If you watch this podcast, it is. It also on YouTube. It's 2 hours. Okay. Bye.